What if I told you that in a tiny village in northern Greece, you could see ancient tombs filled with artifacts that belonged to the family of Alexander the Great? Hi, my name is Dylan, and welcome to Pondering Adventure, where I cover travel, history, and the outdoors. And today, let's find out what's inside the Vergina royal tombs.
If you drive west from Thessaloniki, the hustle and bustle of Greece's second largest city quickly gives way to the peaceful countryside of the Macedonian plain. Today, this quiet rural area is made up of farmland, vineyards, and small villages. However, 2,300 years ago, this was part of the Great Macedonian Kingdom. The small village of Vergina sits in the foothills of the Pierian Mountains. In the time of Alexander, though, it was called Aie. Aie was the capital of ancient Macedon before it was moved to Pella. The ruins of the Great Palace of Macedon still lie here. When Philip II took power in 359 BC, he began a series of reforms that would change the course of history not only for Macedon, but for the world. From his economic reforms to his strategic marriages to his changes to the military, like raising more troops and outfitting them with 16 to 20 foot long spears, the Macedonian state pre-Philip to post-Philip was dramatically changed. Professor and historian Donald Wasson says, Philip inherited a weak, backward country with an ineffective, undisciplined army and molded them into a formidable, efficient military force. In 336 BC, however, Philip's reign came to an end. Here at the royal palace of Aie, another Macedonian nobleman assassinated Philip. The newly reformed and battle-ready state of Macedon now transferred to one of Philip's sons, Alexander III, who would go on to carve out one of the greatest empires the world would ever see, and thus earn the nickname we know him as today, Alexander the Great. The slain King Philip's bones, after traditional cremation at the funeral pyre, were placed in a tomb near the royal palace. After the great conqueror Alexander's death, his generals waged war for control of his empire. After that, a great army of Celts invaded, and a pillage ensued. Once the coast had cleared, the remaining Macedonians buried the royal tombs at Aie to prevent further looting. The burial site of the Macedonian royal dynasty now only existed in oral tradition amongst the local population. In the 2nd century BC, control passed to the Romans, who held it right up until the Eastern Empire was defeated by the Ottoman Turks. After many centuries of power changes, population displacement, and turmoil, knowledge of the Great Tomb had faded from memory. Nearly 2,300 years after the death of Philip, a Greek archaeologist from Thessaloniki called Manolis Andronikos had been excavating in and around an earthen mound in the small village of Vergina. In 1977, he made an incredible discovery. Below the tombs under the mound, which had already been raided in ancient times, Andronikos discovered a cluster of tombs, 2 of which had not been touched. What he discovered inside would shock the world. Inside the 2 untouched tombs were a trove of ancient artifacts. These included swords, spearheads, shields, and pottery. Most interestingly, though, were the intricately decorated gold larnaxes, which contained the bones of ancient royals. In Tomb 2 in particular, a larnax bearing the sun star, the symbol of the Macedonian royal family in Alexander and Philip's time, was found. Inside were the bones of a male whose wear and tear indicated an age of approximately 46 years old, and that he had spent most of his life in the saddle. An analysis also indicated that traces of gold had been melted around the upper vertebrae. This king might have worn his gold wreath or gold death mask while on the funeral pyre. This is further supported by the gold wreath found with the larnax showing signs of intense heat. Bits of purple material still clung to the bones, suggesting a royal shroud or cloth for the dead king. The bones of 4 horses and 9 dogs were also found in the tomb, which matches the funeral of Patroclus at Troy given by Achilles in Homer's Iliad. It's said that Alexander himself had memorized the Iliad. The Tomb 2 male also came with an incredible set of armor, complete with a Phrygian-style helmet and cuirass with decorative gold trim pieces. Faint etchings of a scale pattern are still visible on the cheek plates. In addition to the armor, remnants of a shield decorated with ivory and glass were also found. Further testing is needed, but the consensus amongst most archaeologists and historians is that the male in Tomb 2 is none other than Philip II, father of Alexander the Great. In Philip's tomb, a mysterious woman accompanies him. With her are several pieces of armor that are not of the Macedonian style, but are Scythian. The Scythians were an ancient ethnic and cultural supergroup of nomadic warriors that occupied the steppe lands from modern Siberia to the Danube River. It's said that many Scythian women were excellent archers and would fight in their battles. This gave rise to the Greek myth of the Amazons. The Scythian artifacts in Tomb 2 were confirmed to belong to the mysterious female when the investigating team discovered that her left leg had a shin bone fracture that caused the leg to be shorter on that side. The left greave was also shorter and narrower than the right, which tells us that the armor was custom made for her. No sources survive today that identify this mysterious Amazon in Philip's tomb. The closest we get to any potential clues come from an alliance that Philip had with a Scythian king named Atheus, who adopted him. There is no mention of a wife from this, however. For now, it remains a mystery. Near the royal tombs is the Museum of Eye, in which you can see an amazing collection of armor, weapons, and other artifacts from the days of Philip and Alexander. It's rare to have well-preserved artifacts this numerous from 23 millennia ago as it is, let alone ones that can be connected to such momentously important figures as King Philip and his family. The small, obscure village of Vergina is massive in historical significance.
Few places will connect you with the past like the royal tombs will. It's honestly one of the most impressive historic sites I've ever seen. I encourage any of you visiting Greece to take the 1-hour drive from Thessaloniki and go see it. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you love awesome Greek history, I encourage you to watch my video on the famous last stand of Thermopylae, which I'll link here. And if you're headed to Greece, I assume you're going to be going to the Acropolis, so I'll link my video on the Acropolis here as well. So thanks again. I'll see you on the next one.